Just when you think the battle is over, Middle-earth delivers its most jaw-dropping twist yet. From epic fights to stunning betrayals, this episode has it all, but it's the arrival of an old foe that changes everything. You won't believe what happens next. Picture this, a dark and brooding watchtower, ominous clouds swirling above, and into the fray charges Adar, who, let's be honest, has the kind of face that says, "I eat kittens for breakfast." He's got Waldreg, a turncoat with all the loyalty of a hungry cat, in tow. They burst into the watchtower with all the grace of a bull in a china shop, only to realize, surprise, it's a trap. Arondir, our resident elf who could probably take down an entire army with a toothpick if he felt like it, is waiting. Now, you know that old saying about needing just 20 good men? Well, in Middle-earth, you only need one good elf. And not just any elf, one who's part warrior, part ninja, and has the sort of luck that'd make even the most superstitious dwarf envious. Yes, things conveniently go right for him, but at least we're spared the indignity of him surfing down an Oliphant's trunk like a certain elf we all know. But let's not get too cocky. Adar isn't some Saturday morning cartoon villain who'll just keel over at the first sign of trouble. The attack comes in 2 waves, but before the orc-on-human carnage begins, we're treated to a quick kiss between Arondir and Bronwyn. It's one of those kisses that says, we might die, but at least we'll die dramatically. First, the humans, disguised as orcs, charge in. And wouldn't you know it, they're about as convincing as a chicken in a duck costume. The battle is fierce, and Arondir finds himself locked in combat with a giant orc who has the sort of build that suggests he lifts small boulders for fun. For the first time this season, I began to think one of our main characters might actually get an early retirement plan, i.e., death. But never fear, for Bronwyn, who has a knack for showing up just in time, swoops in to save her love. Now, just when the Southlanders start to break out the mead and celebrate their victory, they realize 2 things. They've been killing their former neighbors, and orcish arrows are a lot harder to dodge when you're busy with an existential crisis. Bronwyn takes an arrow to the shoulder again. Her timing is impeccable, and we're left wondering if she's going to pull through. Adar, being the grumpy sort who doesn't appreciate losing, starts offing people left and right in search of a certain sword hilt. Theo, who's about as good at keeping secrets as a sieve is at holding water, folds faster than a cheap tent. But, as luck would have it, just as things look dire, the Númenóreans arrive on horseback. Cue the thrilling sequence where horses and riders move with the kind of choreography that would make even the most seasoned ballet dancer weep with envy. But the pièce de résistance of the episode comes when Galadriel, who's mastered the art of the intense stare, interrogates Adar. The Dutch angles during this scene are enough to make you feel a bit off-kilter, but that's just as well, because Adar's motives are revealed, and Galadriel's not exactly the bastion of purity we might have hoped. No, she's got a dark side, one that Adar seems all too happy to poke and prod. And then, just when you think things couldn't get any worse, we remember Waldreg. Yes, the guy we all forgot about. He's got the hilt, and is off to the watchtower to play with keys he really shouldn't be touching. And wouldn't you know it, in a blaze of CGI glory, Mount Doom erupts. Mordor is born, and you can practically hear the insurance premiums skyrocketing across Middle-earth. Now, let's talk about Halbrand. I'm not saying this episode does much to bolster the Halbrand is Sauron theory, but it doesn't exactly sink it either. He dehorses Adar with a flourish, nearly kills him, and then casually drops a question that could mean he's either been wronged by Adar in the past or that he's checking if Adar recognizes him, because he's Sauron, you see. And when Galadriel asks him who he is, his evasive answer is about as reassuring as a goblin with a contract. Now, let's be honest, this series has been dragging its hairy feet for a while. World building is all well and good, but there's a fine line between building suspense and taking ages to get to the point. Fortunately, this episode delivers the goods. Storylines collide, battles rage, and for once, the pacing feels just right. The arrival of the Númenóreans on horseback is pure spectacle, and if it didn't remind you of the Rohirrim charging to Helm's Deep, then you're probably in the wrong fandom. This episode feels like a reward for those of us who've stuck with the series. It's the kind of payoff that makes you glad you didn't give up after the 3rd or 4th scene of hobbits wandering aimlessly. If you were on the fence, This might just be the episode to tip you over into the I'm invested camp. Arondir's bit about planting seeds before battle. Nice touch. Reminds me of that woman in Ukraine who handed a soldier sunflower seeds, telling him they'd grow when he died. It's the little things, isn't it? And then there's Theo, who, when scared, asks Bronwyn to recite comforting words. What does she offer? A line about light and shadow that's about as snappy as an overcooked noodle. I mean, there would have done the trick just fine. Oh, and a quick note about Isildur's mum, who gets mentioned but never named. Ikian didn't bother with that detail, so neither shall we. And lastly, Theo's father remains a mystery, but I suspect there's more to this lad than a bad haircut and a scar. Mark my words. And that's just a taste of the chaos and wonder unfolding in Middle-earth. If you're as hooked as we are, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on the next epic reveal. Drop a comment below with your thoughts. Did you see that twist coming? And don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the ride. See you next time as we dive deeper into the mysteries of Middle-earth.